How do we get the most out of our people? Right? I know it sounds bad, right? So they're not machines, but how can we be more productive ourselves, right? And today's topic is how to improve productivity in remote teams. A little bit about me. For those that don't know, I'm Dave. I run a web agency called Designs First Media, a GSM Talent, which is a staffing agency where we help other agency owners, business owners find talent in the Philippines. And I've been running my agency for over 14 years now. I currently manage a team of 21 and a husband and father of four wonderful kids. Let's talk about the meaning of productivity. Right? This is the dictionary definition, right? The effectiveness of productive effort, especially in industry, as measured in terms of the rate of output per unit of input, right? So, how would you summarize that in everyday terms? Yep. Work rate, velocity, how quickly you work. Yeah. I would say sum it up. It's like for the individuals that we bring on, how do we get the most, right? How do we get the most out of our people, right? I know it sounds bad, right? But they're not machines, but we want all, I mean, for ourselves, right? How can we be more productive ourselves, right? Especially as business owners, every minute counts, every hour, every day counts. Productivity. Yeah, we all only have 24 hours in a day, right? Yeah, you're right. I know it sounds bad, but that's the reality, right? We have to sleep, we eat, we have other obligations outside of work or business. We don't want to maximize that, right? We get the most out of our lives. So, my question to all of you is, what are you currently doing? What works? What doesn't work? How do you improve the productivity of your team? Or do you just say, okay, here's a task, go do it? Is that a focus at all? Like, how do you improve the productivity of your team? Like, what's working for you, or what's not working for you, or what are you trying to do to increase your own productivity or your team members' productivity? One thing before we go into everyone wants to know what's the magical pill, right? But let's address the elephant in the room. These are some of the challenges of remote work. Communication barriers, right? Difficulty in managing productivity, time zone differences, work-life balance struggles, the tech issues, like team cohesion and collaboration, right? Because you're all working at a different place. It's not one building, one office. It could be like a noise going on in the background. I've had roosters go off in the background, right? Being in the Philippines. It could be anything, right? Weather, a lot of different moving factors, right? These are some of the challenges. So that's something to consider. Now, another thing too, not challenges, but before we get into, oh yeah, these are the techniques, these are the methods. Oh, just do the DoD, right? Those are the easy things, okay, to do. The hard thing to do is really conceptualize and understanding human nature and human beings, okay? And so has anyone heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs? So for those that haven't, it's a nice refresher. And I think about this all the time. So you think of the pyramid here, right? These it goes from the bottom up, right? These base needs it needs to be there before you get to the top. Before you find self-actualization, before you even get any self-esteem or respect for yourself and for others, and even care about status or recognition or having the strength, right? You need love and belonging. But before you need and love and belonging, you need to be safe, right? And then the physiological needs. So imagine if the person that's working with you, they're starving. They don't know if they're going to be able to afford food on the table or pay the bills next month or next week. Are they going to think about the who they want to be or the status or the being recognized of the great work that they're doing? No, not at all. Not at all. So what can we do, right, as business owners, entrepreneurs, and leaders, right? Trying to, yeah, of course, we're going to try to improve our own livelihood, but really, ultimately, our responsibility is the world of making the world a better place and the people, our community, a better place too. And the way I look at it is, okay, we start a business to help people and not take advantage of it, because if that's the case, then we would be like a scam company, right? So if that's the case, then Maslow's hierarchy needs to be addressed for you as a business owner, as a leader, but also for others that you bring on, right? So that will affect productivity. Now, another great book I recommend everyone read when you get a chance is The Way of Motivation, right? You want more out of your team members or out of your people, right? People that you bring on. You have to understand how motivation works. So there's in the book Drive by Daniel Pink, Motivation 1.0 survival, that was like caveman days, right? Okay, I'm being chased by a bear or a tiger. But I need food and water and shelter, right? That's motivation 1.0, survival. And then motivation 2.0, you think about industrial age, right? We got like people that were farmers that are like now leaving their farms and going to factories. And now there's that carrot and stick, which is still heavily integrated into our workforce and our work environments and corporations, right? It's the carrot and stick method. I will pay you more. I will give you a bonus for doing that work, that job, and I will beat you with a stick or punish you for doing the things that you're not that we don't want you to do. That's the carrot and stick approach. And then now motivation 3.0, the intrinsic, so now that was extrinsic motivation. Now there's intrinsic motivation, is now people want, and we really do, we have evolved as humans to now want to learn, to create, and better the world, that this is an upgrade needed for the modern complex work that we're doing. We're not working in a factory, right? So much, and especially in the work that we do, we're creatives, right? We work with creatives. So it's not this repeat thing over and over again. It's like we need that driver. Like we want to love what we do, right? So now intrinsic motivation, these three pieces to think about. Autonomy, that's their task, time, technique, and team, right? Do they own their tasks? Do they own the time? Do they have their own techniques to do that task? And do they have the team supporting them? So that gives an individual autonomy. Now, mastery, I'm sure we've all been in that state of that flow state where you start working on something and you look at the time and like, oh my God, 3 hours have gone by. I forgot to eat lunch because you were in your flow state and you're so focused and you're in that right mindset of, yeah, I'm doing this for really good reasons. And so that's part of mastery. There are people like, why do people learn how to play an instrument when they're that by learning that instrument doesn't really give them any financial reward, right? It's not like they're going to be the next Taylor Swift, right? Learning the guitar and learning how to sing, but yet they still do it, right? But they just want to master it. And then finally, the purpose, right? The yearning to do what we do in the service of something larger than ourselves, right? So some of the things that I talk about in our own organization, and this is something that you want to think about in your own organization. Every organization should have a mission, vision, and core values. So you have your mission and vision, right? If you have that, it's important to talk about it. So now you can translate that when you're working with your team and what they're doing, let them know like the work that they're doing is more than, of course, more than getting a paycheck, but it's also more than doing it for me. It's doing it for the people that we're helping out. So, for example, in our staffing agency, the talents, our recruitment team, when I talk to our recruiters, I'm saying, hey, these are business owners that we're helping, and some are struggling, some are not. And they have their challenges and they need us to find really good talent to help them go through and grow their business and take care of their families, just like we have families too. And so with that mindset, and then also on the other end, when we find talent, we're placing talent that we're helping them with their lives and with good pay and benefits, but also giving them a means for not only survival, motivation 1.0, and money, financial motivation 2.0, but also three, creating a better future for themselves and the people around them. So the work that we do, it all ties into that, and you have to really mean it, and all your systems and your structure needs to be built around that, and usually starts with the mission, vision, and core values. Okay? Make sense? I don't know, everyone's probably thinking, Dave, come on, just give me the goods. Give me the good stuff. This is the boring stuff, right?
Anybody that mentions hierarchy of needs is okay in my book. That's a spot on way to look at things.
Appreciate it. Thank you. In the last bit, I specifically created this, I have this slide separately because so many businesses and business owners still do this today in 2026, right? They're thinking about carrots, they're thinking about sticks, right? I grew up with Asian parents, right? That's like their model, right? Come on. It was mostly sticks, by the way, not many carrots, mostly sticks. But it doesn't work. They extinguish the extrinsic motivation, they diminish the performance, they crush creativity, they encourage cheating and unethical behavior, and they become addictive. So, a few things you want to think about is that there's studies that's been done where let's look at that. There was a study on trying to get people to donate blood. And so one was, I will give you some money, and that money might be like $20. I think it was $20 or somewhere around there, $10, $20 every time you donate blood. And the other one is, okay, donate blood because people need your blood. People are dying if you don't donate blood. And so there was two groups, and the group that did not get paid, there were more volunteers in that group. Okay. But it doesn't mean, oh, don't offer any rewards, but offer rewards in a way that will support the individual in doing that good thing. Okay, and doing, let's say, doing that good deed and the betterment of the community and the organization. So in that scenario, to increase that number even higher, they said if you decide to donate your blood, you will get a day off of work that day, paid day off. So now it encourages people, it breaks down the barrier of doing that work. So from our perspective as business owners, what you want to do is you want to empower this. So empower your team members to do great work. So it might be, so let's say, I'll give you an example. I'm having one-on-ones and I've had this is a funny story. I had a team member say, "Oh, can you give me a few minutes? I need to put my shirt on." I'm like, "Put your shirt on? What were you talking about?" It's like, "Oh yeah, it's really hot. I don't have an AC unit, and I don't want to show up on the Zoom without a shirt on. So let me put a shirt on, and then we can have our one-on-one." I'm like, "Huh, interesting. Is it always that hot there, or do you not have central air?" No, oh, we have one air conditioner, but it's in another room, and we can't afford another one. And so we got talking. I'm like, "Oh, okay. You know what we'll do? I'm gonna get you an AC unit, and I'll also hire the contractors to install it at your place. So that way you don't have to show up half naked in front of one-on-one. But realistically, it's because you're now able to work comfortably and not stress out about these things. And so these are the rewards that I'm talking about. Now, oh, here's a $25 gift card to Starbucks. I'm like, well, okay, great. So for us, it's about thinking about how we can reward our team members in ways where it betters their lives. Right? Now, keep in mind though, okay, it has to go back to the Maslow hierarchy of needs, right? If you're not covering the physiological needs and you're not covering like the safety needs, right? Let's say you have shit pay, right? That's not going to work, right? It doesn't matter if you throw in an air conditioner. Now it's actually as a reverse effect, right? You're like, okay, you have crap pay, but we're going to give you an AC unit. I'm like, okay, I would much rather get paid to cover my bills first, right? So it's only after the bills are taken care of, the food, water, shelter, safety needs are taken care of, then you start thinking about how can I improve and how do I ultimately get my team members and the people I work with to self-actualization. All right. Okay. And with that, invest in the employee development. So offer virtual courses and certifications. So now we're getting into the tactics, right? Provide mentorship programs and create internal workshops. All right. So this part of having a really productive team is providing really good training day one. And so we do our training, our onboarding is 90 days long. It's through so 3 months. And it's really intense, and we set expectations really high. It's a challenge. And people have quit first day, first week, and that's normal. That's okay too. So, drills. So, one of the things that I asked my EA, Marian, to put together is a little tool that we use, or we're going to start to use, is basically answering like role playing and questions. It's almost like flashcards, but on a spreadsheet form. It's really simple. So, for example, a question might be, can I hire a unicorn who does video editing, social media, and admin work? Okay. And then basically you answer it, what you think, and then so during the role play, and then you check this box, then this is our answer, right? We can look, but specialists are better. If you split the focus, quality drops. I recommend hiring your biggest bottleneck or hiring two specialized roles since our costs are lower than one US hire. And then you keep unchecking and you check and uncheck it, another one, right? To go through these questions. And then you can reset the counter here. And then so that's this how our tool works here. So as you're going through questions completed, and then questions left to do. And then the database is the list of questions and the answers and responses. So that's how our tool works, our flashcard tool works, and it's good for training. I know everyone, right? So let me go back to this. Okay, we're in 2026 now, right? 2026. You can't get away from AI's here. It's not going anywhere. All right. So embrace it, use it, don't fall behind. So with AI, you can use AI for, again, for basic training. Your team can interact with the AI agent to answer any knowledge-based questions. You basically build the knowledge base inside, and it can give your team members direction and ideas, but also with a big asterisk. AI does hallucinate, it makes up crap. So you don't want to rely on AI 100% of the time. Courses, right? Have the team take courses. There's like different, like even productivity courses and training. We allocate a big chunk of our time in self-improvement and continuing education. And then ebooks. We have a ton of ebooks that we've collected and purchased over the years. And so we have a whole repository of it in our database. And then other pieces as clear communication processes. So define communication channels, create an organizational chart for roles, and then establish a regular company meeting, which others have already mentioned. So I'll share a little bit about what our org chart looks like. So this is what it looks like. So I have myself and Amy, our VP of Ops, and then we have our leaders here. And we have our talent success lead, our CSM, which so Zana handles our customer success. Yeah, she's our customer success manager, but also handles the customer success team, which handles a lot of the maintenance team. And then Zaira handles a lot of the projects. So that's how we have split. And then Kyla is our marketing team lead. And then Sig is our EA manager, our admin lead. So handles all our managers. And right now, because our accounting team is one person, Sheila, she's a rock star. So she's currently in this, but eventually we would have her in our own team, and she would have her own team to lead when it comes to accounting and finance and anything that touches numbers. So that's how we have our org chart built out over that. This took like a while, right? And so if you're not there yet, don't stress about it. Start with basics, start with an EA, and then start building your technical talent, and then start building your leadership. But building leaders in your organization really starts at day one. You want to start building your leadership skill now and continue working on it, and then you can build and develop leaders in your organization. It will make your life much easier. Okay. Let's see. Communication channel. So these are some of the channels that we use in Slack. So Slack is our channel communication tool of choice for fast instant messaging, right? Back and forth. So we have our DSM team. We do our announcements here. We share like our top. So every morning, everyone shares like their top three things that they're working on today. So that's where that's at. Dave EA, that's where Marian and myself and EAs hang out to focus on basically my schedule. And then the wins, right? We have a wins channel. We have a DSM marketing channel, which is about our marketing efforts, and then just our general announcements, office, like, hey, it's a holiday coming up where the office is closed, or don't forget, it's daylight savings time. Change your clocks this weekend. So that's general. And then we also have a leadership ops. So we have a leadership channel. This is a random fun channel. We have a kids channel. So just everyone posting their kids' photos and marketing trends. So anyone that finds like cool videos, the trends, what's trending in marketing, people share their content here. There's an admin channel for all the admins to hang out. We have an accounting channel, which handles like whenever there's any accounting, financial tracking, invoicing, payroll questions is on the accounting channel. We have an AI tools channel, alerts for celebration, and alerts for calendar booking. How the alerts work for us is that we get notified in the alert. So mainly the marketing team is watching this, is that 14 days before someone's birthday or their work anniversary, there's a trigger that the notification alert that happens. And so then the marketing team has 14 days to put together something really nice, like a congratulations or a happy birthday announcement for the individual. It was just like one little nice touch that we do. And you know how I know it works? One time our automation broke. And one of our talents complained like, "Hey, I didn't get my birthday celebration announcement." Right? I was like, "Oh, so sorry." The automation broke that moment. We missed it. So it works. People care about it. And it's these little things add up. So we have a designers channel, and this is just like a small handful of the communication channels that we have. We have a communication channel for every one of our customers. We have other department channels too, and that isn't even listed here because I just don't have enough room. But so just kind of give you an idea of how we have our channels organized. Company meetings. So we have our company meetings, everyone's on camera, and we go through the feedback, suggestions, team highlights. We go over, and then at the end, we talk about the appreciation for others. So it's like thanking someone for doing something for them last week or last 2 weeks ago, just highlighting and appreciating others. So that's one of those things that we do during our company meetings at the end. So then use the right tool, right? Using the right project management tools. So project management tool for task tracking, leverage cloud storage. So these are just a list. There's a bunch. There's way more than this, right? Online. But these are just some of the tools out there. I've talked to agency owners and business owners that aren't using any tools at all. I'm like, you're crazy. Why aren't you have to keep everything organized? I know some have discussed, oh yeah, I'm using Trello right now. I was like, okay, great. But there's other tools out there. Make sure you learn the tools and implement it. But it's a balance, right? You don't want to overuse all these tools or throw like all the tools in the kitchen sink and just have your team use it because you'll end up not implementing it. And so there's a careful balance of that. But continue looking at what are the tools that's best fit for your current workflow, and then continue to add on top of that. So capacity worksheet, this is actually something that Austin built, and we took it and we modified it. And so this is what it looks like. So the point of the capacity worksheet is to understand everyone's capacity. So you can see here each of the team members, their managers, the division that they work at, their work they're in, their titles, the hours allocated, the available hours left. So we're looking at 160 hours a month, right? So 4 times 40, and then utilization percentage, right? So you can see here the rules is that I'll zoom in a little bit. The purpose of this monthly capacity dashboard is to better understand our team's workload, avoid burnout, balance workload between team members, understand what is taking up all our time, and improve our estimation. Our target is 80%, right? Not 100%, not 50%, 80%. That's our like goal for utilization. That's what we're looking at. Okay. So you could go in, all right, so these individuals, so let's say, for example, Zana, and we like replace some of the client data. So for example, these would be our client projects that she's working on. And then for her in particular, like design dev. And then so under that, client meetings, internal meetings, research, or project management and quality assurance All of these things are put into here and then it adds up into here. So let's say for this project, she has 3 client meetings and she's doing five. Oh, I think the calculations is off. It should be some of this. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So now it's fixed. So now it's 88.9 hours allocated. She has 71.1 hours left, and then her utilization right now is at 55%. Okay. So now we have the project client projects up top, client and projects up top. Down below are the internal stuff. So we're looking at, okay, the daily Scrum calls, the updating notes, daily digest, the updating the project management tool, the company meetings. Like all these things take time and all these things need to be accounted for, right? So this during a one-on-one, let's say in this case, let's say I'm talking to Zina here, we would bring up the capacity dashboard and say, all right, what's your bottleneck? What's keeping you from, or do you have availability? Do you have time? Oh yeah, this month is a little slower. We don't have as many projects we're working on right now. So okay, great. So could we, if that's the case, could we increase because in the previous month, you set your development as only half an hour for the whole month. Can we bump it up to 20 hours this month? If that's the case, I'll go buy maybe a workshop that I can sign you up for. I'll get you some courses, whatever it takes. What are some of the skills that you can work on to level up, right, during this time? So that's the open dialogue that we have during our one-on-ones. Now it's not, we don't have to, before this, it would be like, oh, what are you doing? Are you busy? Are you overworked? Are you overwhelmed? And like most people, you know what they say? They say, no, not at all. I'm doing great. No, everything's okay. I'm doing fine. Now we have everything written down, and it's not just for the managers or for the leaders, it's for the individual themselves. They now recognize what's eating up all their time. And then now imagine take the individual level and combining it as a whole organization, and everything's transparent. Everyone sees what everyone else is doing. So it's fair. And we're here and we talk about, people talk about, oh, we help each other out. We're a really good team. We take care of each other. What are you really doing about it to make that happen? We now have a document and we have a system that actually addresses that. Anyways, feel free. If you have any questions, drop it in the chat. Some of the stuff, am I going too fast? Does this make sense? And because I don't see really anyone right now on video, I don't know what the reaction is, right? I might get confused faces. That's what I'm imagining with this radio silence.
Can you maybe give some description of what is a DSM, what is a Scrum call, things like that?
Oh yeah, so DSM is just our abbreviation for our company, Designs First Media.
Ah,
Scrum calls are like morning huddles. Like you in the morning, everyone gets together for 15 minutes to discuss what's our plan for the day or for the week.
so it's a rugby term.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly.
No, I just, yeah, I finally caught the meeting there. Thanks.
Yeah. Then we have different roles. So different roles have different responsibilities. So Zaina is client facing. Kyla is internal with our different brands. So we have these different brands. So she's working on these different brands. I'll get the size right. Okay. And the same thing applies. We have our internal tasks for her and stuff like that. And you can see, man, her utilization is getting up there. And so another thing I look at one more thing before I move on, the utilization in the beginning for a new hire hits 100%, sometimes even higher. Okay. The reason for that is they're new. They're going through boot camp, essentially, right? So it's normal to see high utilization in the beginning, and not because they're doing like the actual work, like the real work for project work. They're learning. A lot of the time is eaten up by the education, the training, and the setting expectation pieces. So utilization is expected to be high for new hires, and then over time it balances out around 80% for everyone. Knowledge base and team ecosystem. This is what our knowledge base looks like. Let me zoom a little bit. So we use Smart Suite, but it could be any tool. Actually, Notion does this better, I think, than Smart Suite. But we have everything organized by the role. And so when someone clicks on the role, they can then see all the SOPs related to that role. So it's easy to reference and go back to it. You want to make this piece as easy as possible. It's a place where everyone knows to like always go back to whenever they have questions or not sure what to do. Okay. Another thing is AI gems. So in Gemini, there's this thing called gems. It's equivalent to GPTs with OpenAI's ChatGPT. And they're basically pre-programmed AI agents with the knowledge and information needed. And these are different gems that I have. Okay, voice of an agency owner or AI automation tools or the CFO agent. So there's these different agents that our team uses for different scenarios and they can interact with it. So that from a production standpoint, it's much, much easier to draft an email, brainstorm, all these other things. So we're leveraging AI gems or pre-built agents for that. And then storage. We use a lot of cloud storage. So Google Drives is our tool. And we have different folders for each of the brands and keep everything organized. So we have feedback friendly culture. So regular one-on-one sessions, two-way feedback, practice active listening, and truly act on the feedback, right? Someone tells you like, hey, I'm struggling with this, and you do nothing, then you're wasting your time and you're wasting their time, right? And so you want your team to be heard. And of course, you want to be heard too, right? So one-on-ones is one of those things where I would say, especially when you're starting, but as you grow, you can I would cut out the technical work before I cut out any one-on-ones. I would even go as far as I would rather cut out sales calls. Okay, as long as I have someone doing sales calls and consultation calls before I cut out one-on-ones. That's how important the one-on-ones are. Okay, because think of it this way: a customer will help you financially, right? They're exchanging money for your services, maybe one time. Or maybe even if you have a large customer, right? Okay, they'll pay you and they'll support you and for a while. But eventually the organization may leave, may go under, or maybe may get acquired, right? It's just evolution of a business that happens. And that's one customer. For your team, the more you invest in your team, the more that it's a multiplier now. So they're building systems, they're leading other team members, they're doing sales that you don't have to anymore. They're closing sales for you. So these are the things. So that's why if you're gonna invest your time if you're gonna put, let's say you have 8 hour day, you need to spend 4 hours somewhere. I would rather spend 4 hours building and training my team than 4 hours doing sales. Okay. But not in the beginning. In the beginning, I know you need the sales to survive. So you're in a survival mode, but you want to get to the point where you're at that place. Schedule regular check-ins. So I have a recurring one-on-one on my calendar for my team. And flexibility with accountability. So set clear deliverables and timelines. So pretty much everything. I never say, oh, please do this work. We talked about earlier before the call, the DoD. Can you help me with this? Can you get it to me by tomorrow? And this is what I would like. This is what the output should look like, the definition of done. And define milestones for larger projects. And then allow flexibility in test execution. The person that's closest to the project, closest to the problem, should be the one giving you recommendations, leading that, right? Because you as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, you're doing so many things that you're not focused in that it's better to have the individual give you direction. Now, what you do instead is you're curious, right? You're like asking questions like, oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? And over time, your team members will be able to be prepared for that and address those things even better for you. Okay. Because they'll know, oh yeah, David's gonna ask me this question next time we talk. They'll have it ready to go. And then, of course, model healthy work habits. If like the hustle culture is not that great, okay? So don't do it. And in the beginning, yeah, you do what you need to do. You hustle. We've all done it. I've done it. But eventually you'll burn out, right? Hopefully you don't burn out. But everyone has their threshold, right? We're human. One of the things that you want to do is that you model that and then you have your leaders model that. And then that also overall increases productivity. You know what? We encourage our team members to take breaks, take time off, go to the gym, quit smoking, right? We can't push it. We encourage it. We offer things like, hey, if you want to sign up for this event, we'll cover it. We'll pay for it. And we highlight, oh yeah, so and so brought on a personal trainer, and or let them know and it has to be genuine, right? I noticed that you've had more energy lately compared to 3 months ago because of your new improved sleeping habits or your new training schedule. Right? So these things, having that level of support, encouragement, and you being that role model is the key. But if what they see is you constantly working nonstop and that's all you do, and burning yourself out and getting frustrated or stressed out, guess what? Your team's going to turn into that, like it or not. And focus on outcomes, right? So focus on KPIs, focus on the end result, where we're trying to go, the championship we're trying to win, and what does it take to get there, the people that we're trying to serve, the number of people that we're trying to help, right? Focus on that. And not to worry too much about micromanaging everything. Now, I do want to put in a little bit of asterisk, like what you think what micromanagement is. I I see most people are actually afraid of micromanagement. Okay. And because there's this like stigma behind it. And then what they think what micromanagement is. And yes, there is the stigma comes from like the micromanagement of someone watching over their shoulders constantly. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, you're doing this wrong, and so forth, and constantly chewing that person out, right? That's the stereotypical bad micromanagement. The Instead of thinking of it as micromanagement, I would think of doing things more of a mentor, like a guidance counselor, a coach, in a way where you're truly there to focus on the individual's ability and where they're at, meeting where they're at and knowing what they're capable of and test. You need to test, right? You need to test to see how capable they are or their current state, and then continuing to support the individual and helping the individual grow, right? So one obvious and extreme example is you don't see me deadlifting 500 pounds. Okay. I would break my back, right? That's crazy. So what a good personal trainer would do is say, all right, let's see where you're at right now. And then, okay, you can lift 50 pounds. Great, Dave. Good job. But then the next day, okay, now you can lift 50 pounds, or we're going to push you to 500 pounds. And I'm going to chew you out every time you can't lift 500 pounds. That's crazy, right? Don't do that. So you figure out, okay, at 50 pounds, can we push Dave to do 70 and then 100 and then 150? But carefully at every little stage, we're evaluating all the other factors, right? Is Dave's mental state there? Can he mentally, because your mind will break, your physical body will break. So mentally, is Dave ready to lift 150 pounds or 200 pounds, right? So the same thing applies. Is your talent, is your employee ready to do this new responsibility, these set of tasks, right? Because just because you've been lifting 500 pounds doesn't mean your new hire can do that. You got to work your way up there. And so there's that careful balance and not burn anyone out, but at the same time provide enough challenge where it's still engaging. So focus on outcomes. And ultimately, don't forget to have fun, right? These are some of the things I send my team to. They've not only been to many places in the Philippines, but Hong Kong, so the Disney World in Hong Kong, Vietnam, no, Malaysia. So they're all outside the country, outside the Philippines too. And we have a lot of fun and events, just to let loose. And part of that is also productivity. So, anyways, thanks for being here. I'll talk to you later. Right, see ya.